everyone. Welcome to another episode here of the Off-Season Raiders Wrap-Up. It's Sam Gordon and Heidi Fang, and we're going to break down everything that we know about the linebacker core today, as well as the special teams units. Which, Sam, first, let's start off with the special teams, because I think right there, we were just talking a little bit about it before we got started here, and the Raiders have themselves a good situation, I think, with positions that you want to look at here.
Yeah, they do, Heidi. Thank you for having me. Happy to be back. But they have a reliable kicker in Daniel Carlson, a reliable field goal kicker. He was perfect on 4 attempts from 50 yards plus, and he made 33 of 35 field goals. They have an option, it looks like, for the foreseeable future with Daniel Carlson, who's still relatively young. He just wrapped up his 3rd year in the NFL. They have an option. They know that when they get into the red zone, if for whatever reason their offense stalls, we know that offense has stalled quite a bit the past couple of years. They can get 3 points. And then, like you talked about with A.J. Cole, I mean, he did what he had to do. I mean, he's the punter. He took care of business. I can't remember any big, horrible punts this year. And those two guys are young, 25 years old each, and look to be in silver and black for a pretty long time, I would imagine.
I don't know if he'll make it as long as Shane Leckler did, but hey,
he was a legend. He was a legend.
Yeah. They got a decent solid guy, though, in A.J. Cole. So let's move on here to the linebacker core, which I don't think produced as much as obviously the Raiders would have wanted it to, especially given the money that they invested in the players that they brought in, starting with Corey Littleton. When you look back at his 2018 season and what he did there, he was a Pro Bowler in that year with the Rams, and he went for over 120 combined tackles. He had interceptions. He recorded sacks. This is something that he didn't do in 2020 with the Raiders. What does Corey Littleton do here in 2021 to improve upon his 2020 season?
I think it's going to help him having a defensive coordinator in Gus Bradley that comes in with a fresh mindset. He's probably breaking down all that tape of what Littleton put forward, and is going to put him in a position to be successful. I think the cover 6 defense that Paul Gunther played at times was a little tricky for Littleton, who was accustomed to that Rams system, and as a result, he was out of position a lot. He led the team with 17 missed tackles. Like you said, he didn't have a sack for the first time, Heidi, since his rookie season, and he finished with his fewest amount of total tackles this past year since 2017, and he wasn't a full-time starter in 2017. I think it's about getting him back into positions where he's comfortable, filling in the run, being out there in coverage, flying around all over the field, making plays, blitzing here and there. He never really quite found a groove, and as one of the highest-paid players on the defense, it's imperative that they get him back to playing at a Pro Bowl level if that defense is to improve the way John Gruden and Gus Bradley wanted to.
Let's get into the Mike linebacker, that being Nick Kwiatkoski. He really, I think, had a strong year. Sam, what was your take on Nick Kwiatkoski this season?
I mean, this is a guy that played really well with the Chicago Bears and was looking for an opportunity to come be a focal part of the defense and a leader on the defense. And I think that's exactly what they got from him. Now, the catch was that he missed 4 games. He was banged up, and the durability limited him and limited his production a little bit. But when he was out there, he was a stalwart in coverage, allowing a passer rating of only 77.3. That was the best amongst Raiders linebackers, and he was active in the running game too. He's one of the top tacklers with 81, and again, that's only in 12 games. So I think he showed that 3-down ability. He was present in the running game. He was present in the passing game. He was on the field, and you felt his presence. So I think it was a really good first year for him to kind of assert himself as one of the leaders on this defense. And I'm curious to see how that partnership with Gus Bradley benefits him as well.
There was one guy who remains that was part of the Reggie McKenzie era, and that's Nicholas Morrow. And I think Nicholas Morrow, he kind of has been playing with that chip on his shoulder, being from the old regime, if you will, and trying to make a name for himself on this roster. What did you make of his effort this season, and how much did you see that chip on his shoulder like I did?
I thought he played really, really well. I think he wasn't not only one of the better coverage linebackers for the Raiders, but one of the better coverage linebackers in the league, and really made the most out of his playing time this year. I mean, he's a guy who was more or less a part-time starter or a spot starter the past couple seasons, and this year really emerged as one of the key playmakers on that defense. And now the question becomes, what happens next? He is an unrestricted free agent. This is his first real opportunity to go out there and get those big dollars. Are the Raiders willing to pay for that kind of production, or is he going to end up elsewhere? I think depending on how the cap looks and what they decide to do in other areas, I think he's somebody that Raiders definitely should consider bringing back based on his level of production. And he's another guy. He's still only 25 years old. I think there's still upside with him as well that Gus Bradley might be able to tap into. And then just with his natural improvements, very focused, very hardworking young man. I did a big profile story on him in December and really got to know what his football makeup was like, and he's as high character as they come. And with that, I think there's another level he can get to. The question is it in Las Vegas or is it somewhere else?
That is a big question. And like you said, the salary cap, that thing is just, it's looming over us. We don't know
Yeah.
who's going to restructure, how they're going to do that, how they're going to make the room. It's going to be
Right.
something to see. It's really insane what they're going to have to do with that salary cap this year, particularly. That brings me to Raekwon McMillan. Is he somebody that you would see the Raiders holding on to this season, or do they go out to the world of free agents where there's some names available like KJ Wright or even Matt Milano? Do they look for somebody like that in free agency as opposed to holding on to somebody that they brought in this year?
When they acquired him, he was only 24, and now he's 25. And we've seen that kind of upside potential, especially in the running game. As a rookie with the Miami Dolphins a few years ago, he had 105 tackles. Now, what kept him off the field is coverage. He's a guy that I think still has some upside, even though he didn't play that much for the Raiders this year. But if there's somebody available, another veteran presence maybe, like you said, a KJ Wright who is noted for his coverage. I mean, that's how he made his bones in Seattle. If the price is right and the situation is right and the fit is right, then I can see them looking to bring in another veteran to go along with the young core that they're trying to develop as well.
Well, Sam, I really appreciate your time today and doing this here. We will be putting this up now as a podcast that we've got the defense done. So keep an eye out for that coming up soon here on the Vegas Nation channel for all your podcasts. Wherever you listen to them, find it there. Hit subscribe to all of our Vegas Nation shows. Also, check out everything Sam's doing in print and online at vegasnation.com. Thank you, Sam, again so much. Follow him at by Sam Gordon. I'm Heidi Fang. Thank you for watching.